Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much once again to the organizers, BMPA and Mr. Narendra for giving such a good introduction. Excuse me for my blocked nose. I have a sore throat, so I hope I'll be able to put together what I have in mind and what I'm trying to present here under the platform of e-management. And like Mr. Sen mentioned earlier, it will be a very good idea if we could take some bits of it and see how it can help you in your businesses and your lives further on after today. I'll start with the print industry, and it is very much in line with what Mr. Sen was mentioning and even Mr. Narendra mentioned during his speech here. The print industry is not just changing, it is being redefined. I think that's important to know. It's something which has not died, it has grown, and that's where, like he said, Pragati is there, and you have the Thomson and the IPPs and the other big major presses of the country and across the world. It's a historic opportunity to be prepared, and it is a threat for those who are not prepared. So it's very important that we are prepared to make those changes and be ready to grab the opportunities which are available in the print industry and what the world is moving towards. What's the competition for the print industry? Because there are no barriers in this internet age. Even an email is a competition to the print. A PDF which goes by email is a competition to the print. An online web training is a competition to the print, because it does not require to be printed. So as long as anything which is not required to be printed is competition to the print industry. But that does not stop us from not being what we are doing today. It is an extremely competitive world. And we necessarily not be that the same people whom we are competing today would probably be our partners tomorrow. So what does it mean? It means that the productivity and efficiency cannot be less important than any time before. And there is little tolerance for inefficiencies, for wastage, for spoilage. We have to be on our toes all the time. I think that's what management is all about. And that's what takes precedent over the technology that we all own. And like Mr. Narendra mentioned earlier. So what to do? What do we do to be successful, to make it happen? We make ourselves more important to our clients. I'll just start this from a comment, a quote from the chairman, CEO of Heidelberg, Mr. Bernard, who says, "An opportunistic printer is one who knows how to sell print as a part of a package, not just the print. It should go as a package." Opportunistic printers are creative. Did we hear before that printers need to be creative? That's the work of the designers. Why the printer needs to be creative? It's very important, because that's how you add value to your customers. And that's how they add value to their customers, which is very important. And they're knowledgeable about the businesses of their customers. And they are tuned to the digital workflows. Ever alert to the financial underpinnings of their operations. Very important. It's very critical. Ultimately, the bottom line is to be secured. And that happens when we are able to make sure there are no inefficiencies, the productivity is high. I'm taking that from Mr. Bernard here. So how well do you know your customers and your customers know you? Do you discuss your customers' plans for their future products or marketing initiatives? Have we as a printer fraternity ever discussed that with our customers? Do you propose how you can work with their customers in their future plans? I don't think so. We wait for a job to come. We probably have people who are franchisees. We have people who are agents, brokers, who get the jobs for us, and we print and get it back, irrespective of what is going to help our customers or our customers' customers finally. When did you last present your capabilities and future plans to the director of your customers? I doubt we ever did that. Do you suggest how your customers can best design and produce their work? I don't think so. And did we ever publish any newsletters or any other developments that we share with our customers as to how we are growing in our technology? How we as printers can help our customers? I don't think so. Andrew mentioned about this quote, so I'll just take it forward. It's a fact. It's a fact that we should ask our customers what we can do for them rather than they doing something for us. So what is the next that printed? But what difference is if the Tiger biscuit has the name of the kid, for him the biscuit is. Believe me, he will never eat those biscuits, he'll always keep that pack. He'll show to everyone, whoever comes to home, that this is my Tiger biscuits. This is my glucose biscuits. That's the difference. It solves the problem of how to handle customer demands for very short runs. That's something which is happening. I think about 70% of the jobs, total jobs that we receive, I'm sure all of you would agree here, are less than about 5,000 prints for an Indian terminology. But abroad, it's even lesser. And we are following that. Because internet happened much before it happened to India. Telecom happened much before that happened to India. So there, if the short run, the break even is about 1,000 prints or something, now it's about still 5,000 in India because we still have a volume business. But that's changing very fast. And that's where we have to adapt. So what does digital help you do? It allows you to sell new departments like creative and marketing, where price is not the issue. If you have a unique output to be given, then if a mother finds the name of a child on the wrapper, on the package, will she ever ask you what is it for? She'll just pick it up and pay. That's the fact. So that's where the creativity, the uniqueness comes in, and that's where your inputs come to your customers. And the best thing again is, which is very much part of the e-management, as we can call it, is the workflows. If earlier you were not able to integrate those workflows, it was a tough decision. You have an existing workflow, and now someone says digital is the best, please go ahead with digital. Then what to do? Should I stop that, or should I take this? Where do we, no more, you don't have to take a decision. You can very well integrate it into here, into the same workflow. And of course, you have lots of new opportunities. Variable data is big time. I don't say that it's now, it's happening, but still it'll take some more time to mature for an Indian kind of an audience. But abroad, I'm sure we all know, we have seen it happen. Variable data has taken the world by storm. Everything is personalized. Look at this changes in the market. This is one US Department of Commerce information here. And if you look at this, all the growth rates are negative here. The change in 03, 04, very slow. Hardly any growth is there. But if you look at the digital printing growth, 28.3% from period of 97 to 2004. And from 2003 to 2004, it was a 6.8% growth. These are still old figures. Believe me, the numbers are much more now, much higher. So that's where I said it's not that should you invest in digital. The question is when you should invest in digital to be alive and kicking and successful. And I see no reason why we cannot be. And what is driving those growth pages? You look at this growth. These are the four things: collateral, direct mail, catalogs, plus the transactional, etc., which comes later. This is the highest percentage which is going to get you. These are the applications which are driving this high volume growth and which requires a digital perspective. So that comes to the third part of our discussion here, what to do, is automate the workflow through a seamless, unified offset and digital workflow, which will help you be very efficient, very productive, and successful. What is workflow? What is it? It's basically end-to-end management of the job. You know, you get the order and you generate an invoice. When you generate an invoice means you have fulfilled the job. It's gone out back to the customer. That's the workflow. How do you manage that workflow? It's very unique. It varies with environment. I'm sure we have almost like 200 plus people sitting here. Now, each of you would have a different way of doing things in your particular industry. It's very unique to you. But it still has certain standards behind it, which helps the job move forward, which helps customers come to you and then give you a job and take the job back. It's critical to simplify that operation. Till you don't simplify that operation, that workflow, you will end up having those issues in the cost management. Very relevant things which Mr. Sen said earlier in the day. That's where it will help you. When you simplify your operations, you reduce your cost, you have better profitability. And your chances of success are much higher. And of course, there's no errors, no spoilage, no wastage. Because it's automated. It's less error prone. It's more reliable. And what can an optimized workflow offer you? Responsiveness, more customer collaboration. If it's automated, if a customer can touch you from the web, the jobs come online. You are more responsive, you're available 24/7. Would you have ever dreamt of doing it before, a few years from now? Never. Because now people want to do it. People send job orders through SMS. That's how fast the technology is changing. Your responsiveness has to be much better. And that's what can an optimized workflow offer you. These are the reasons for the success for a lot of people across the world, which probably you will get to see in the docket from Xerox, that there's some 5 case studies which I have put in together. Go spend some time. There are different, one talks about retail, one talks about how people are printing books on book publishing, someone talks about how the travel and tourism industry has benefited. Please go through those case studies. You will find a lot of interesting materials to learn and take it from there. And these are people like you. Those case studies are about people like you who have been successful in their walks of life and how they have taken and adapted the new technology, how they've been prepared. Adaptability, new application services. It's changing every day. I remember, nowadays I see people talking about, can your machine print on a Conqueror paper? That ice white paper, the gold paper. Because that's what the customer wants. That's what they're talking about. That's new application, new services. You have travel documents. All of us, Indians now are traveling so much, traveling abroad, traveling within the country. And what they need is excellent services. They need everything in their hand. You'll come across one of those case studies talking about that. That's the new application. And when you are able to, I would say a killer application in our terminology, then the money, the competition is not there. Then you charge a premium. You make good money there. That's the way to go forward. Very specialized services, which will add to your bottom line. And then adaptability also includes from your end, how you can easily integrate with the existing workflow. Like I mentioned, I'll just show you an example a little forward in the presentation, which will help you understand how easy it is becoming. Reliability is very, very important. The uptime, very, very critical. How much time your machine is up. As long as your equipment is up, as long as your workflow is not having errors, there's no breakdown, there are no bottlenecks, you'll be printing. When you're printing, means you're making money. As long as your machine is not working, there is some error, the job has to be repeated, there is wastage, there is inefficiency, there's less productivity, you're making less money. Unfortunately, you'll be losing money there. That's what is important with reliability. Capacity, how to optimize your capacity. I'm sure we have lots of presses, but are we usually using it to our best of operations? Are we getting that kind of jobs in to ensure the presses are running all the time? If it's an 8-hour shift, are we ensuring that we are working 8 hours on that press? I'm sure we hardly use 4 hours of that. What about the balance 4 hours? How to optimize that, how to take it up is something which is a very good workflow will help you. A simplified workflow, a cost control workflow with lesser errors, lesser wastages. Repeatability. How to make it happen? A repeat. You have a job, you do it once. Do you need to go about? What we do usually is we keep those plates. That is one way of ensuring that we save some kind of money or we give that benefit to the customer or take that benefit to ourselves. That's repeatability. But that's a very small part of that repeatability. How to make it better. A workflow will help you take it better. Common workflows. I'm just sharing here one simple example. It is not limited to Xerox or Heidelberg or whatever. It's very open to any kind of digital workflow with an offset workflow. And here I'm trying to show you what a Heidelberg Prinect, how does it come together with a Xerox FreeFlow workflow. That is a digital workflow with an offset workflow. And the work can be set up, move through the workflow. You won't believe it. You do everything as normal. Till the pre-press, everything is ultimately at the end when the estimator decides, is it economical to do a job on a digital or is it economical to do a job on offset? That's the only place where you define a difference. Everything else is common. There's no redundancy. So the errors are not there and the similarity between both the jobs is very well taken. That's what it means by the chooses which printing process is to be used until it is the time to print. And the same jobs can be printed by both the processes. Isn't it beautiful? A customer walks in, he wants, and I'm sure you face these kind of questions every day. They have an annual general body meeting. And they want to do those annual reports, let's say about 1,000 annual reports. But he says, I need to do 20 annual reports now because of my managing committee has to see first. And those 800 or 980 books you can deliver after 1 week, or we can send it by post to the shareholders. How do you do that? Can you print those 20 and then on an offset machine and give it to them and say, here it is, and then give me the order for this 980? Never. You can never. But you can do it now because you can have the same output, the same quality of those 20 pieces coming out more economical, but you can charge him premium for that short turnaround time. Because he gives you the job today and he wants it tomorrow morning. Okay, great, I'll do it tomorrow, but I'll charge you a premium for that, for those 20 pieces. Believe me, that's the way people are doing and being successful. Common workflows can be extended easily to add variable data printing capabilities also. That is the future. Personalization is going to be something which is coming head on. So, not yet probably, it's happening, but at a very small state. This is like 5 years back, digital people would never even listen to me. I would not have been standing in front of you here 5 years back. They'd say, who's this guy? What has Xerox got to do with the printing industry? But now people accept that, people understand that importance. And that's what is with variable data now. You all know what is variable data. But 5 years from now, you believe me that you will be doing more variable than the other jobs. Convergence in the world of printing. Just now I mentioned about Heidelberg and Xerox. The Prinix workflow with the Xerox free flow. I'll just show you that through a flow chart here, a small workflow. Look at this. This is the present scenario. This used to be until now. You have plate production, you have offset printing, and you have a print ready system. I'm sure Mr. Narendra would agree on this is the kind of workflows people have. And then you would go in for a digital. This is earlier. You had altogether two different separate entities, and you are trying to make head or tail as to where to send the job, how to send it. Okay, send this now. No, don't send it. Do this, do that. No, not anymore. You see the integration, so beautifully integrated. So, oops, what is this? Sorry. See, that's the Prinix print ready system. It's again something which Heidelberg and Xerox have come together and defined a protocol how to understand each other's language, how an offset workflow understands a digital workflow. And we said, let's do it together because they understand the necessity to be part of digital, and digital understands the need to be part of offset. It's a very complementary thing. One will not erase the other, but it will help both of them grow together. If you have digital, I've seen customers, their service data, probably we can discuss later if any one of you are interested. I'll show you how people say that their offset print jobs have gone up after they invested in digital. The growth was there, but the offset print job, because ultimately you're offering one thing under the same roof. Why people are afraid of these small mom and dad shops these days? They're afraid that these big Reliance Hypermart or the Walmarts of the world will take over and these small shops will close. Why do you think they are afraid of that? No? Okay. Okay. They're afraid because they feel that they will never be able to take that volume business together. Because they don't have the capability to extract from the supplier a cheaper rate for each produce. A Coca-Cola bottle sells for 10 rupees or 9 rupees, whatever. But a Walmart, because he's going to buy crates and crates of Coke, he might buy it for 7 rupees and sell it for 7 rupees 50 paisa. But a retail guy will never be able to do it. And the same thing is what offset and digital will match up. Only digital, no, cannot do it. Only offset, you cannot do it. If you have a job requirement for 10,000 prints, anyone would be foolish if he puts the job on digital. Because the break even will never happen. But if the same customer says, I want 50 jobs, can you do it? And you say, no, sorry, I don't offer 50 jobs. What I'll do is I'll give you 500 jobs for a little price more, just the cost of paper. Add the cost of paper, I'll give you. Isn't it that what we do? But what do we do in that case? We hardly have a profit in that job, but we ensure that the job did not go to my competition. But with digital, you don't need to do that. If you have a common workflow like that, you don't have to do that. If you're able to manage it like that, that's the best scenario, because you will make damn good profit on that digital output. And you will make a good profit on the offset output if the job was 500 or 1,000 prints. That's where the adaptation lies, and that's where the success lies. So what are these benefits? Although I've just gone through it, I'll just quickly go through them. Of this integration of digital and offset, the unification of those two things, cost savings. Your redundant workflows are eliminated. Like I said, you have one workflow, common workflow, and at the end, it goes to the printer. That's it. You don't have to have one workflow for the offset and one workflow for the digital. You have a common workflow. At the end, it's the two printers. Depends which is more economical. The estimator will define that. It's cheaper to do it in digital, send the job to digital. Cheaper to do it in offset, send the job to offset. That's it. And higher margins, like just now I said. Short runs. Nowadays, we still go ahead and do those short runs. We tend to believe we want to satisfy ourselves. Yes, we can do it. 500, no problem, I'll do it. But what is the profitability in those 500? Hardly a few paisas or rupees we make in that whole job. But in digital, no. Your higher margins are ensured. Because you can do short runs at a lower cost and give it at a lower cost. And of course, you have more control. You manage it better. You understand what are the bottlenecks. You can, sitting here, you can know, okay, from my PC here sitting, I can know what all is happening on my entire press. You don't need CCTVs. The entire thing will tell you here. You don't need anyone to come and report to you in the evening what went wrong, what machine. Believe me, the technology is available where you sit on one equipment and you know the entire workflow. You can see the proofing from the pre-press part to the printing and the finishing part. All, if it's JDF enabled, it's there. It's in front of you. And who best will do it? It's you, the owners of the press. Anyone beyond you will not be so susceptible or so desperate to understand what is going wrong where. It's you who needs to know. It's you who can show the world as to what we can deliver. And of course, it's a secure investment. That is the future. JDF enabled is the future. And if you're investing in Xerox, you're investing in Heidelberg, or you're investing in offset, you're investing in digital, I'm sure you realize that is the future and it is secured. The additional revenue streams available. It's new applications now. Web to print. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, you need to have a press, if it's an 8-hour shift, you need to have the press running for 8 hours. Newspaper industry is different. They wait for the news to happen till 12 in the midnight and the press starts working, because that's the job of the press. But I'm sure they still look for ways and means to see how to make the best use of press on the other time of the day. Everyone does. You want to utilize the capacity. You want to utilize the manpower available. And what is the best way is you can get maximum orders. How can you get maximum orders? If you're available to your customers 24/7. What gives customer the availability 24/7? Online. Internet is there everywhere. Telephones, mobiles, SMSs. Believe me, we have customers in India, forget what is happening abroad, who take orders on SMS. They have a particular mobile number, okay? Someone places an order through the SMS, it comes into a computer screen. And it validates whether the customer is the right customer, because if he places an order, you have to verify whether he's going to pay for that. So that process is already there. And it's not something like an imported software developed by some people. It's an in-house developed software. People are doing that. Why? Because you want more and more jobs to make you print more and more. If you don't have the capability to accept more jobs, you will never be able to print more. So web to print, variable data printing, cross-media programs. These days, like I'm the marketing manager. If I have to do any campaign, at the end of the day, I need to know what is the return on investment. And that is for all the corporates across the country, across the world. We need to know. If I am investing about ₹1,00,000 for a campaign, will I make 5 lakh or 10 lakh rupees out of it from sales after that? And if you as a printer go and tell me that, Mr. Pankaj, this is it, I'll help you get into a campaign, I'll help you monitor the return on investment, and I can assure you and guarantee you 10%. Believe me, he'll pay you 2 lakh rupees for that job. And competition will be saying, I'll give you for 1 lakh. He'll say, no, you cannot show me that. That's where the future is. That's what the success is for people who are in this industry and who have taken the lead forward, who have adapted themselves to the new technologies. That's the cross-media programs. Book publishing. I come across so many people every day, wherever we are. They tell me, a publisher, for example, I have 10,000 titles which I have not been able to print because the requirement is for 50 books, 100 books. What do we do? Because we cannot. And the publisher cannot afford to print it at such a high number or a small number at a low cost. So he does not print. The requirement is there, but he cannot print. So what does he do? Digital printing. There is a case study in the dockets from Xerox, which is of offset paperback manufacturing. They were one of the biggest conventional paperback publications, which do about 350 million books a year or something, and they adapted to digital. And see the kind of titles they can offer. Less than 50, 20, 10. That's what people are doing, book publishing. People have never thought of that you could get into digital on that. A very big market. Economics, of course, I mentioned earlier also. The cost cuttings available. Higher efficiency levels, because obviously if it's digital, it is totally automated. Why is it the offset presses are connecting to a digital workflow? Why is it that you have the Brisk and the Prenergies and the Prenex available? Again, to improve the efficiency levels, to make ready shorter, to the turnaround 7 minutes, 8 minutes. That's what Heidelberg says. That's the fact. Why they were trying to do that? Because the customer wants a faster turnaround. And that's what will help you improve your efficiency levels. And of course, wastage will be much lesser. I'll just share with you a simple example as to how a web-based solution is touching the lives of so many people. It's about a customer called Royal Properties. It's a real estate agent. And we know that in India now, real estate is a big business. And I'm sure a lot of us here are doing a lot of catalogs and booklets for these real estate agents. And they're real damn good booklets, and they're sold for crores of worth of property. So obviously the realtor is not at all bothered as to what is the cost of that booklet. He wants it damn good. You know, that's what his requirement is. So how does someone do it here? Let's just show you a small example. For example, this is an agent X. He's a real estate agent, and he needs to sell a property. Okay? So what he has to do is, to sell a property, he clicks these photographs. He has a digital camera. All of us have digital cameras these days. You click photographs, simple agent, somewhere in some corner of the city. He'll click those photographs, and then he goes to Central Print. Central Print is one of the printing establishments in I think, Rochester, New York, where they have a website which has something like this. It's customized. The front end is for Royal Properties. So the agent, the sales agent or the real estate agent of Royal Properties just goes to that link. The back end is common for everyone. But you can have, if you have 100 customers, you can have 100 front ends of the website, which are the internal website with a link at the back to the server of you as a print provider. So what you do is, you go there and log in. Okay? You log in with a password. That's very important. And then what happens is, then you have these templates already available. Something like a promotional item. Because he wants to sell certain properties. About 5 different houses are available, some apartments are available, maybe by the seaside, maybe on a penthouse apartment he wants to sell. And there are buyers available. So what he does is, he'll go to a particular template, and this is the template, which is already, it's a blank template. All he puts it is the dimensions. He just punches it into the system. Yeah? Like this. See this. This is the different rooms. He'll give the floor plan, everything online, sitting in his house. He did not come to you. And what does he do after that? He'll select those images. He'll enter the variable information. For example, the price of the house. Probably he knows this customer understands the real estate business better. He knows how the property prices are. So he will be a little more conservative in the price he wants to give this customer. But for the other customer, he can give whatever price, because this guy is new to it. He can probably bluff his way, maybe negotiate or whatever. So he'll enter those details. And that's the details. Simple, all this, details are there. And now, can you see this? He's got 5 different customers selling the same house. And it's not a big deal at all. The way I'm clicking the slides, that's exactly the way we do it. I'm sure half of us here would have gone to Drupa, for example, or IPEX, or even, for example, PAMEX here in India. You have online, you enter your information online. You go to the website, enter your name, your address, your details, your interests, which industry background, and suddenly, probably by mail, you would have got from Drupa or from IPEX a personalized catalog, which says, oh, you are a pre-press person, so you would be interested to know what CTPs, etc. available. Oh, you are a finishing person, so what is these finishing equipment manufacturers doing. So they'll focus you for that because you are more interested to do that. Or you already invested in a press, you want to invest in finishing. Or you want to invest in a new press, so you say, I'm interested in a press. So you go online, put all that data. And what happens? You will get a personalized something like this. A mailer. Very easy to do, very easy to do. I'll share with you when, I don't think all of you would have got those personalized calendars. If after this, probably during the tea break or at the end of the event, you could walk up alphabetically, we have arranged those calendars. Each of you has, whoever registered before the 22nd of this month, I think there was some early bird, etc. till 14th or 15th of Feb and then 22nd. Whoever registered online till the 22nd, they have a personalized calendar waiting for them outside. Very easy. All you did was, you don't even know. You just went in and put in your information. And there's a calendar waiting for you outside to collect. So then, it doesn't stop there. You can see the proof yourself. It pre-flights it. You can see a soft proof online. What more do you need? You know what is the beautiful thing about this? Online, you are able to know that if the resources are missing, if a particular font is missing, what happens usually? Customer sends a CD, the media guy sends, agency sends you a CD to print, and suddenly this font is missing, that image is missing, high-res is not there. What do? You send the CD back. Ask him to send the resources. It comes back to you. What happens? Say something else is missing now. Goes back, comes back. And what happens? The customer has already given his deadline, but he doesn't see these deadlines which are rotating in between, because the event is tomorrow means I need it tomorrow. Although last night, 12 o'clock, suddenly all the resources came together, and now he says, where is my job? And you don't have a choice. You end up printing. You will put some extra time. You have people staying late in the night, pay for extra shifts, and you print. But the customer will not give you any extra. He said, I gave you the job 1 week back. But what happens here? It's all in line. It will reject the job. The customer will never be able to upload the job till all his resources are properly uploaded. So it saves you a lot of problems. Yeah? And then he can see the soft proof. No need to get a print and then get it approved and then get a signed copy back and then he'll try to match, and no need. You have done it online. The system, the software does it online. It does a soft proof and that's it. And what happens after that? The customer says, I want it at this date. So it is already fed in. You would have already put the information into the backend when you have bought this particular software. And there are lots of software like these available. From Xerox, from third party. Depends wherever you want to do whatever. I'm sure some of you would have been using these kind of softwares already. So I request a date. Okay, if it is a small job, if it's 20 pages, the system will automatically define, okay, I can give you in 2 days' time. Because the system at the back of it knows what all jobs are lying in my production queue. So the date comes to you and you can get a quote online. Okay, it's a 12 by 18 size poster. I need to do 20 posters. I want to do it on a gloss paper. I want to do it on a 300 GSM media. Okay, very fine. That's it. The system will automatically calculate the cost and say, this is the cost for you. Are you ready to take the job? If it's a retail customer, he'll put in his credit card details and that's it. Your money is transferred to your account. Because the job will not go further in. But if he's a corporate customer like this, who has a username and a password, what will happen? There is a tracking system, an accounting system at the back end, which will keep a track of that particular customer. And at the end of the month, it will put a total invoice that this is the orders we received from you, this is the amount we had discussed. And the best part is, for example, he got a quote, and he as a customer knows that I get 20% discount on this. But the other real estate agent might get just 10% because that's the term of conditions you have decided with the customer. And at the end, the invoice would be like that. And a job can be sent to more than one destination. That's happening. You have Max New York Life insurance company headquartered in Gurgaon. But they have offices all across the country. So what do they say? Okay, can you give me a job in Chennai? Can you give me a job in Mumbai? Can you give me a job in Chandigarh? Can you give me a job in Cochin? So what do? You said, no, we'll give you in Gurgaon because you are giving me an order here, I'll give you. He said, no, I don't need it. I don't have the time or the effort to split the job and send it all there. So what you do is you distribute that print. You can define the destination online. The customer's agent says, I'm in Mumbai, but maybe it's like DLF. I'm sure half of you would have heard about DLF. DLF is basically a Delhi-based, North India-based company, but they're coming towards in Hyderabad, in Chennai, in Mumbai. Yeah? So the real estate agent says, okay, this is properties for Mumbai. You don't need to send the print output to Delhi because DLF is in Delhi. You select the destination. I'm in Mumbai, I need it in Mumbai, you'd get it in Mumbai. And what will you do? Your system will track it. Either you have multiple locations or you have one location, but your job queue will define where it is going automatically, and the job set comes out and the shipping address is Mumbai. You ship it. The courier charges have been built into the cost of your job. And the customer places the order. And the job goes directly to the central print production queue. Look at this. It's automatically gone into the queue. No one is involved here, because everything has been taken care. All the resources have been taken care. The soft proof has been approved. The customer has paid for the job. It is in the queue now. Now, the operator at the back end can either decide which machine to print on. Okay, the customer doesn't know whether it's going to be printed on digital or offset. You don't need to tell him. He will never ask you. He needs the final job. And that's it. That's what you will define at the back. You can automatically define it or you can manually define it. You have a choice. And what do? The job queue, and if you can see here, it's slightly small here. These are the various queues. There's small fonts here which talks about what is happening. The pre-flight is happening, then you have imposition happening, color management, ICC profiles, everything is happening automatically. You define that. For that customer, he likes yellow a little more. So your job queue will take care of that yellow. Believe me, you don't have to tweak your machine every time to get that more yellow. No, that's the way to do it. And then you can track the job status. You can track it sitting, like I said, here, or the customer can track it where his job is. You can give him that option. He's very happy, like you do on a courier. Before these courier services had a tracking system, did we ever realize what is happening to a courier? But now you immediately go to the net, put your airway bill number, and you see where is my job, where is my courier. And then you call up the courier guy, why the hell it has not reached here? It should have been at this place now. That's what customers' expectations are, because it's fast. People used to wait for telegrams to come. Now you pick up the phone, SMS, and that's it. You get a delivery receipt also. Whether the SMS reached or no, he'll not defy. No, I did not get the SMS. No, I got the delivery receipt. You got the SMS. That's the way. And what happens? Your customer gets those individual brochures, individual catalogs of that real estate house. And I'm sure this, if it's personalized, it is to your taste, it is to your liking. It is proven that the response rate for a personalized mailing program like this is 16 to 17%, versus a standard response rate to any kind of campaign is 1 to 2%. Can you believe it? If a marketing guy comes to know like this, he'll just say, okay, where is the solution? I need it now. That's what you can do for your customers. So the bottom line is, there are plenty of ways to succeed. We're going to grow together. Believe me, it's not going to die. There were talk going on that it's going to be a paperless office. Believe me, the amount of printed pages has gone up multi-folds than that time. You still need that paper. You need that record. You need those training manuals. You need those catalogs. You need those brochures. Even though you might be buying on the internet, you will get an invoice. You will get a lovely catalog coming every month saying, this is this month's guide. With the Reliance Fresh coming, with Tesco's coming, with Walmart coming, you will see a spurt of printing activity happening. There is one more case study in the case, it talks about retail. Have a look at that, go through it. What customers are doing to help a hypermarket or a supermarket become more efficient. See, now we are not talking about your own efficiency, we're talking about your customer's efficiency and how to help him take it forward. If you can help him that way, help him strategize, believe me, he's going to be with you all the time. He will not go to anyone else. A well-conceived, compelling value proposition is what you have to offer. And digital complements offset is the path to success. So I'll just conclude here. Expand your services and offer more to your customers, and give the total solution, the total value proposition. And utilize your offset workflows. You don't need to throw them out. They are going to be complementary. And one more important thing, we as printers would have never thought, improve your expertise on data handling. That is what is very important. Very few people know how to handle data. If you do that, you will never be able to come across any kind of competition. Data handling is very crucial. And have a vision, just do it, and be the prepared one. Thank you very much.
Any questions on this? I would like to make one observation. Again, we have gone back to the American data that the litho is growing by 0.2%. In India, it's 15%. So now I agree with what all he said, but I sincerely think that's one data which does not apply to us. We're growing at 15% in commercial printing and 30% in packaging. So that's one observation I have. Any questions, please?
You spoke about short runs comparison between digital print and the offset printing. How does the digital print for short runs compares with the flexography printing? Any light on this?
How does digital print on short runs?
Yeah, compare with the flexo printing. How does it help the flexo printer, not a offset printer? Any light on this?
No, I didn't get your question.
We said for short runs in the presentation, the digital printing will help the offset printing because he has a choice for short runs to go digital.
Correct.
And not really put the offset machine loading.
Correct.
The question is, if I am a flexography printer,
Yes.
how does digital printing help me for short runs?
It's now, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it could be not just the iGen. Yes, of course, Xerox has that kind of product, but there are a lot of other products, digital printers, who can equate to your offset litho printing.
No, I am not a offset printer. I am
Yeah.
a flexo printer.
Okay.
How does it help me?
What his question is, I believe, is that the way you have shown the integration between the offset and
digital.
the
Yes,
digital,
yes.
is there any integration package available between the Flexo and digital? That's what his question is.
See, at the moment, if you're talking about a unified workflow kind of an environment, I don't see that with Xerox, but there are people who have that kind of integration available, and which could help you, again, to leverage both the technologies where and when required.
That's actually what Indigo is now saying, 4050 or some machine like that, that if you go less than 500 meters or 1000 meters, instead of 20,000, 30,000 meters, this is the way it is. And it seems, I mean, this is quote unquote what they say, at the end of next year, the largest number of flexo printing machines sold overall would be by Indigo, because that's a short-term market and that's which is taking over. It will go through like this only, similar workflow, but with only 500 meters if you want. That's the way to go. Maybe iGen also can do it. I'm not really very sure about it, but that's the way to go.
Welcome.
I have a question for Mr. Narendra. I want to know all the technical stuff which he talked about. Do you believe that?
No, I sincerely think, number one, what I sincerely believe, in especially the last ones, what he said, printers have to know how to handle data. Extremely important. Printing, commercial printing and digital printing, offset printing and digital printing will coexist together. Yes, I believe. And I sincerely think 10 years from now, we'll be doing things very, very differently than we're doing now. I believe that too.
How long before Pragati invests in digital?
Oh, we have a small kind of digital press now. So we don't have the iGens or the Indigos. But as I said, I believe that we will go, I don't know when. But we are very, very clear on one thing about the data handling and data warehousing. Yes, we are doing a lot on it and we are doing very well on that also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's a regular feature. So files are coming in, and now broadband is not only from abroad. Many clients from India, from Bombay, we get on the net. So I sincerely think that's the way to go.
Just mentioned just now that since commercial printing is growing at 15% in India and packaging is growing at 30%, so how does digital printing help the packaging printer per se? Because there are too many variables in the packaging as compared to the commercial printing. So we are talking about a few leaflets or a few brochures or a few annual reports. How do we address the packaging issue in digital printing?
I'll just mention, Manoj Bhai just now mentioned that, like for example, the iGen 3, it is one of the digital presses, a flagship product of Xerox, which we have recently launched in India. That is very much into getting into packaging, and very soon we'll be getting approval from US FDA for the food packaging grade printing also. That is the ink that we put it on the paper on the 350 board or a synthetic media or a 500 micron synthetic media, whatever, it is going to be food approved. So that shows that everyone is moving towards that, and packaging is very, very critical to the success of iGen 3 in a lot of places. Like I have some samples with me if you'd like to see. I'll show you what we can do on the iGen 3 and do these small, I would say pharmaceutical cartons, even with